So gonna go ski run the lake.
Yeah. So this is amazing for you, Marcel. A couple of years ago, you couldn't even do this.
That's true.
And tell us about that. Tell me about that.
Well, I had chronic Lyme disease, but I didn't know what it was. It went undiagnosed for a couple of years. So it just started out as like kind of achiness and tiredness, almost like a chronic fatigue level tiredness.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to the point, at one point, where I had a day off and I was laying on the couch looking out at the Boston skyline because we live in South Boston. And I was thinking about all the things I wanted to do, but I didn't feel well enough to do any of it. And like going down to the mailbox, like I had to get myself to go down to do it because we're a walk up, 4th floor walk up. And the 4th of July, not the 4th of July, but St. Patty's Day parade is like a big thing there, obviously. And they have a big 5K race there every year. It's huge. Everybody like around goes to it. And I remember thinking that moment, I'm going to run that 5K race next year. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to run that 5K race. And I couldn't, just my joints were swollen. They were hot. Every like thing that I wore and everything that I stepped on felt bad. Like, cause you just don't really realize how uneven ground is. Mm-hmm. Whether it's cobblestone or gravel or whatever, until you have issues with your joints. And then like every step you take is kind of like painful. So
you're saying that even in the midst of your pain and sort of, for lack of a better word, disability at the time where you were unable to do virtually any sport or activity, you still had this sort of epiphany that you were going to do something that you couldn't imagine doing at the moment.
Yeah, I didn't know how I was going to get there, but because I certainly couldn't run. I wasn't even a runner at that point. But I did decide that I was going to do that. And I had been to several doctors, and I finally went to this one doctor, and we have a sister with lupus, and I was convinced, I think in the back of my mind, I had lupus because it was like a lot of my joints were swollen and hot and sore and fevery and just felt so tired and had a lot of the symptoms. And I remember that doctor saying, "You don't have lupus. Would you like to have it?" And I was like, "No." And that was a little bit of a like, all right, well, I guess I better stop putting that out there because I don't really need to have that. And I had to change doctors because we moved into the city, and the new doctor that I have, which is no longer in my practice, took one look at me. He's like, "You totally look like you have Lyme disease. Has anybody tested you?" And I was like, "No." So he tested me, and he was like, "Yep, you definitely have a really bad case of it." And so he put me on like many rounds of antibiotics that didn't work. And then finally sent me to an infectious disease doctor who put me on many rounds of antibiotics. At one point I was taking them 3 times a day for a month. And obviously that kind of like strips your body. It doesn't do any favors for the rest of your body when you're on antibiotics that much. And they were not bringing down the markers of Lyme. Like there's these like kind of bacterial markers of Lyme, and they were starting to go up rather than go down. So that doctor said the next step would be to put a PICC line in my arm and have IV drip antibiotics given to me on a consistent basis for however long it took. So I just stopped going because I was like, this isn't working. And I had a gym membership that I wasn't using to the YMCA. It was winter at that time. And I just said, I'm going to go every day to the gym and do something. Whatever it is. I'm just going to like get on the treadmill. I'm going to get on the elliptical. I'm going to, the stair climber. I'm going to get in the pool. I'm going to get in the sauna. I'm going to make myself go to the gym every single day. And so I started to do that. And I literally did. I'm sure I missed like a couple of days, but for a year I went every day to the gym.
So what do you think? So it sounds like there was a very definite transition between you going and seeking help from someone else in the medical community, or multiple people in the medical community, and kind of a shift to you taking it into your own hands, sort of ownership of it almost. Would you say?
I mean, I was a life coach, so I spent most of my days teaching people to own their own wellness, and that they're all of their abilities were within them to be well. And so I just wasn't utilizing it in my own life because I couldn't see that that's what was going on with me. And also, I mean, the connection to the gym for me was that I had noticed on the few times that I had exercised heavily that I felt better. My joints felt better. And that was the one time that they did. Nothing else really helped. No, none of like, because I had, well, acupuncture I'd done. Like there were like a lot of things that I did that made maybe like a slight improvement. But the exercise was the one thing that I did that I felt like whatever it was, like it was reducing the inflammation in the joints. It was making me feel better. That movement and getting out there and that was definitely helping.
So you felt encouraged. Did it start to build confidence in your own ability to kind of keep seeking answers and solutions to this problem?
Yeah, it did, but it did take a while, like a long time.
And as in days, months, weeks, years.
Years. But it had been a years coming on. And so then it's kind of simultaneously, my husband started to get healthy too and doing a similar thing for himself. And he started running and started booking us races. And so it wasn't something that I liked or that I wanted to do, but to kind of be supportive of him, I started to do it with him, the running. And that I noticed the best improvement in my joints, which was totally counterintuitive to me. Like, why would running help hot, inflamed joints? It's so hard on the body. It's what everybody tells you not to do, that it's bad for the joints. But for me, it helped my joints. So that was another kind of like pivotal point of like, all right, well, maybe there's something here to this thing of just like, all right, maybe I don't have to take anything to get better. Maybe I can just do more, just exercise, just be more active and start to change my thinking about it too.
And so now you're probably 2 years out from that time?
I would say I'm probably 4 years out from that initial time that I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay. And where are you at now with your fitness, your joint health, and goals that you have moving forward for your body and your wellness?
Well, I run all the time now. I run like half marathons. I just did the Spartan trifecta last year, which is not to brag.
Go girl!
Yeah, kind of an animal. No, I mean, my joints don't hurt at all. I don't even feel them.
Ooh, that feels miraculous.
Not at all. And that, I would say, within the last maybe 8 months. There was a time last year where we were running a lot. My joints were significantly improved, and I was trying to do trail running. And because that called upon me to have like a completely different set of strengths in my foot and my ankle, that was very frustrating for me because I thought oh my God, I'd come so far and I was doing so much better. And I remember at one of the trail races, like bawling in the middle of it because I was so discouraged that, oh my gosh, how am I not better? How are my joints still bothering me after this amount of time? But it was just something that I hadn't tried yet. I hadn't done that. I hadn't tried to use my muscles in that sort of way. And so I went to PT for about 4 weeks and I was like, oh, I can do this. This is something.
So instead of taking that as a setback and making you stop, you actually eventually, when you dried your tears, saw it as an opportunity for more growth and more strength and sort of moved toward it and indeed conquered it. And so where are you at now? We're down at a frozen lake here in Vermont, and you have some special shoes on your feet that will make it so that you can actually run on the ice safely.
Yep.
And get your run in. It's below zero. It's very cold, but still, that's not going to stop you. No. So what is your current goal? Where are you at now?
So my current goal is I would like to win in my age category, and I plan to this year.
In a win in what?
In a race. Preferably, I mean, any race would be great, but 5K would be nice to start with. This last year, I had an experience where I came in third in my age out of probably maybe 200 people. And so I was like, whoa. I was like, hey, maybe I can do this. So I do try to run every day. I feel it if I don't, like just not from a joints perspective, but just from a a health perspective. Like, this is part of my health care. Like, somebody take a vitamin every day. I feel like being active, and it's not always running. Sometimes it's hiking or, kayaking, but just moving my body every day is definitely my vitamin. And
You need it.
I
to
need
be
it.
well.
I need it. I feel like I need it mentally, emotionally. I just feel also like I have a ton of energy now, which is also exciting, because that for me was hand in hand. The most difficult part with also the joints not feeling well was also just the low energy for a person who at the time was 40 years old. Now I'm 45. I feel like I have more energy than I've ever had. And I attribute that to that, just an active lifestyle. And, I don't say I eat perfectly. I try to be, eat pretty healthy, but it's mostly just moving and just getting out there every single day.
So
no matter what the weather is.
In order to win in your category, that means you have to increase your speed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a plan for how to do that? Just sort of what you're doing and constantly moving forward? Or?
Yeah, I do try to track my pace, and so I'm trying to do something different, because I'm was in a bit of a rut of plateau, just kind of staying where I was at, and there was nothing wrong with that because it was still good for me and it was still healthy. But now that I got a little taste of like speed and possibly being able to win, I'm a competitive person anyways, naturally. So I'm like, all right, I have to shave like initially, like I had to shave like a minute off each mile, but now I have to shave off like 30 seconds off each mile, and that sounds doable. So I'm like, oh, I can totally get there. That's
bite size.
Bite size. I can do that. Yeah.
Great.
And plus, I just think it's good to have the next goal. Last year, doing the Spartan Beast, which was in Killington, Vermont, which took us 11 hours as a group, and just called upon like everything in me, like from mentally, physically. It was demanding, it was difficult, and we got to the end of the 11 hours and we crossed the finish line. You jump over fire, and I thought in my head I could do another couple miles. And for me, that felt like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe I had that thought. I can't even believe I had that. Like, that's nuts. I didn't want to do another couple miles, but if there was 2 more miles, I could have done it. And so it just made me stretch what I thought was possible in my mind. You think you can only do so much, but you really can do so much more than you think you can do. So a
real transformation here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's not getting any warmer out on that lake, so I can't wait to see you get out and run in your ice bugs and get some fresh air and some sunshine. And that was a truly inspiring tale. Thank you for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, sweet job, Marcel. That was amazing.
That was so fun.
So Marcel here just ran in special ice bug shoes so that she was safe all the way around this beautiful lake. It's below zero, probably about 6 or 7 degrees, which used to feel cold, but not after what we've just been through.
Now it feels warm.
So now it feels great. And Marcel said at the end she was even sweating because she was coming around this cove and it's blessedly not really windy. How do you feel, Marcel? This is a different environment.
Yeah, it was magical. I loved it. Very different. You can hear the sound of the water under the ice, like gurgling. It sounds like whales or something. It's really cool. It's very peaceful. Usually I like run with my music on, a lot of distractions, but it was nice to just kind of like be still in my mind and not have to be distracted by anything and just be able to be peaceful while being out in nature and active, and like it's just kind of like a special feeling.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because just this year I stopped exercising with my little iPod.
Oh, nice.
For that reason.
Yeah.
And because I think this is why I love it so much here, because it stops being about a workout. And it's just, oh my God, I'm in this incredible natural environment and it's just the way it is like right now, and it's going to change, and I'm just in the right place at the right time. So it's
You're more in the moment, really.
Yeah, totally in the moment. It's not distracting. I'm not like watching a clock or thinking about a meter. And I noticed that the just to let everybody know, the lake is probably 11 to 12 inches The ice is about 11 to 12 inches thick. So very thick, very safe.
Yeah.
And when you run the perimeter, you know, it feels safer. It feels safer. But anyways,
Yeah, no, it felt very safe.
Yeah, so how your ankle feels?
I feel really good. Definitely
Awesome.
feel like
Cool.
I got a workout because it was a different terrain, and I had to grip it differently with just wearing the ice bugs and just being like more cautious of my steps. So I made it less about like speed and trying to, you know, get somewhere fast, and more about just kind of enjoying it.
Which is great. That's a great break for your mind.
It is, yeah. It felt that way.
So I feel like everything you've described today has been mind-centered.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that that's true?
I think everything in life is that way, you know. Yeah.
So do you feel that shift in your mind from sicker to weller?
Yeah, I think you have to make that shift in your mind, not just what you're doing physically, but you also have to mentally make that shift that I don't need someone else to make me feel healthy. I have everything I need within me, and it's just about, you know, kind of knowing that and accessing that, and just kind of not letting yourself get in your own head about I can't, I won't, I don't have what I need, it's not enough of this, it's not the right conditions. It's just, you know, really more talking yourself into it than out of it, and, you know, focusing on the strengths that you have. I think. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm so proud of you. So we actually should take the camera away from the sun, because
Okay.
we shouldn't even be.
Facing the sun.
Yeah, here's my beautiful sister Marcel.
I'm so lucky.
Love you.
Love you.
So my skis are in Marcel's new car. I'm really excited about that. It's been baptized. Her car's been baptized.
Amen.
And Marcel just went running on my lake. So she just baptized my lake.
It is
Amen.
Sunday. It is Sunday too.
Ooh, amen. See? Gotta love it. Just back from our wonderful ski and run at the lake with my sister, and now we get to like eat a whole bunch of really good food in front of the fire. Whew. Wow, how perfect is that? Hi. I want to show you what I'm playing on today. I came up to the mountains because it's been so cold that my lungs have been really unhappy, have a little asthma, and they've been super unhappy in the well below zero temps that we've had for the last 2.5 weeks. And so today I'm coming up into our beautiful mountains to stretch my lungs. And the best way that I know how to do that is to get on my telemark skis, which a telemark ski has a free heel binding. So much like a cross-country ski, you can kind of walk while you're in the ski. And this ski resort is closed today, but they have an uphill policy, which is wonderful. They welcome people to get on top of the mountain either on snowshoes or on skis. And so what I have on the bottom of my telemark skis are called skins, and the early version of these were made of sealskin that the 10th Mountain Division used to use. It's basically like a carpet with a nap in one direction and a high-tech adhesive that's a self-sticking adhesive. So it doesn't leave any residue on the bottom of your ski, and you just apply it to the whole bottom of your ski. So when it's on, it's inside the metal edges from the tip to the tail. And when you get to the top of the mountain, you peel it off, fold it in half, and it will stick against itself, which is a bear in really cold weather to get undone, by the way. And then throw it in my backpack and ski down, and that allows me to kind of go anywhere on the mountain that I want. Sideways,
through the woods, up and down. It's very freeing way to ski. And because the mountain's closed today, I've only seen a couple of other people, some on snowshoes, one on carrying a snowboard, people getting out and enjoying the mountain today. So it's really beautiful. It's snowing. I just took a layer off because it's above zero for the first time, and I'm going to do a little bit of snow yoga where I just put my skis on and do some informal yoga stretches, and it just sort of keeps things supple and moving. And my plan is to go to the top, and then I get one blessed run down. So maybe I'll see you at the top if the battery holds on the camera. So I'm hiking up this mountain today on skis with skins on them, because today I'm practicing stretching my lungs. So shift your mind, shift your lungs is my sort of mantra today. And so I've had like asthma for about 21 years. And ever since the beginning of it, I've had this feeling that taking medication for it was not the best route for me. But that keeping my lungs as natural and as stretched as possible was the best route. And it really has worked for me. So the shifting of the mind is like, normally when something hurts, you pull in. It's a very inward thing to be ill or sick or, something like that. And so I have really tried to practice shifting my mind to like flip that around, see it from another perspective, which is, a lot of things are kind of counterintuitive, I know, but, to keep it stretched, I have to kind of keep using them, right? And so for me, going uphill is the best way to use them. And I sort of had an image in my mind of like my lungs being like a rubber band, and that if that rubber band sits in the dark and never gets used, it gets dry rot. Notice how anything that has dry rot is, something that's just not been used, and so petroleum or whatever's in it just sort of leaches out and it gets really dry and crackly. Well, that's the way I think of my lungs. Like if I don't use them and I just try to pile something into them to make them not hurt, then I'm kind of creating a rubber band headed toward dry rot. And so that's why I'm going uphill. And using them, sort of like it's a slow, I don't have anything to prove to anybody, so it's slow. If I don't make it to the top, I don't make it to the top, but that's my goal, to make it to the top. And it's snowing, and it's like a real winter day, snowing beautifully, but above zero, and really great. Hi. So I didn't make it to the top today, because Mother Nature is always in charge. And but when I started off, my lungs felt super tight, and my shoulder blades hurt and everything. And really quickly, they started to loosen up. So I feel excited about that. But they're starting to get tired now. I'm near the top, but not at it. And as I gain in elevation, it's getting icier underneath the snow. And it's late in the day, so it's also getting darker. So, live to play another day. So I'm back. I don't know if my little hose here froze up. Yep, it did. Oh, thanks for coming along on this lung stretching journey with me. It was so great to be out today. I'm so excited. Every time sometimes you can feel a little scared about like doing something that seems counterintuitive, like, oh, my lungs hurt, I should stay indoors and take care of them. But if I shift the way I think with that, and I go with my wild voice, my intuition, I never fail. It never goes wrong. So my lungs feel great. was out for hours in this beautiful winter day, and I'm really excited that I'm staying healthy and strong, and it's like such a confidence booster too. It's like, yeah, you got this.